Claire pulled on her old gardening gloves and opened the shed door for the first time that year. Dust floated through the sunlight like snow. She hadn't stepped inside since before winter. As she moved an old rake and a cracked bucket, something caught her eye near the back wall. It hung from a ceiling beam, wrapped in layers of rough fabric. It didn't look like tools or storage, more like something someone had tied up on purpose. She frowned and stepped closer slowly. Her first thought was a wasp nest, but it was far too heavy and neatly shaped. She reached for a broom handle to nudge it, then stopped. Something about how neatly it was tied made her stomach tighten. It wasn't random. Someone had hung it there with care. She took a small step back, deciding it was smarter not to touch anything until she knew more. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Her son always said, "Take a picture before you throw anything out." So Claire pulled out her phone and snapped one quick photo. The flash went off, making her flinch. On the screen, the wrap's shape looked even stranger, like something out of place in her simple wooden shed. Zooming in, she noticed rough stitching across the fabric, maybe hand-sewn. There were faint, faded marks along one side, possibly writing or stains. She couldn't make out what they said. The longer she stared, the more questions came. Why was it hanging here? Who would go to this much trouble? Claire finally called her best friend, Karen. "You're not going to believe this," she said. "There's something hanging in my shed. Looks like a giant wrapped-up bundle." Karen laughed and said she'd come take a look after finishing her errands. "Don't touch it till I get there," she warned. The house felt unusually quiet after the call. Claire made tea and tried to distract herself, but her mind stayed fixed on that strange shape. Every creak from outside made her glance toward the shed window. She told herself she was being silly but couldn't quite shake the uneasy feeling. To calm her nerves, she uploaded the photo to the local community Facebook group. "Anyone know what this could be? Found it in my shed." Within minutes, comments began appearing. People guessed everything from a hornet nest to someone hiding something. She regretted posting almost immediately after hitting send. Claire's phone began vibrating non-stop. Dozens of people were tagging friends, arguing in the comments, urging her not to touch it. One user claimed to recognize the photo and tagged a local journalist. Claire set the phone down on the table, uneasy. Whatever it was, it suddenly wasn't private anymore. 10 minutes later, Claire heard a car engine outside her house. She assumed it was Karen arriving early, but when she looked out the window, a silver van she didn't recognize had stopped near her driveway. Two people stepped out carrying camera equipment. Claire frowned, wondering if it was coincidence. From her porch, she saw them set up near her fence, a woman holding a microphone, a man adjusting a camera tripod. The logo on their van said, "Channel 7 Local News." Claire blinked, completely thrown. They hadn't knocked. They were pointing the camera toward her shed. Before she could ask what they were doing, the woman called out, "Hi, are you Claire, the one who found the thing in the shed?" Claire froze, halfway down the steps. Yes," she answered slowly. "How did you even know about that?" The reporter smiled. "It's already making the rounds online." They didn't wait for permission. The cameraman began recording while the reporter spoke into her mic about a mysterious object discovered in a residential shed. Claire could hear her own address mentioned. Embarrassment rushed through her. She hadn't even touched the thing, and now it was already on TV. Within minutes, another van pulled up, followed by a small car. A man with a press badge around his neck stepped out, joining the first crew. Neighbors began peering over fences. One woman from across the street yelled, "Is everything okay?" Claire's heart pounded. This was getting out of control fast. One of the reporters told her, "Someone said you contacted authorities." Claire shook her head. "No, I didn't." But a few minutes later, a police cruiser appeared anyway, with his siren off but lights flashing. An officer stepped out and asked quietly, "Ma'am, is there something unusual you'd like to report?" The officer examined the shed, asked her to stay back, then unrolled yellow tape and began marking off the area. "Just precautionary," he said, but his tone drew more attention. The camera zoomed in, catching every move. Claire stood still, stunned, watching her quiet backyard turn into a spectacle. Reporters shouted questions. "When did you first notice it?" "Did you touch it? Have you seen anyone suspicious nearby?" Each question made Claire feel more foolish. "I don't know," she said helplessly. "It's just been hanging there." But the reporters kept pushing, their excitement growing as if something huge was about to happen. More people drifted into the street. Phones were out. Someone whispered, "Maybe it's from that missing person case." Claire overheard it and felt her stomach twist. She hadn't even thought of that. The object suddenly seemed darker, heavier. She looked toward the shed again, wishing she'd just ignored it altogether. The officer called for backup to be safe. Reporters murmured updates into their microphones. A neighbor handed Claire a bottle of water, telling her she was handling it well. She wasn't. She stood on her porch, staring at the taped-off shed. Her nerves stretched thin. Karen still hadn't arrived. Claire took a deep breath and stepped off her porch. "Everyone, please, this is my property," she said, raising her voice. No one stopped. Claire's phone buzzed again, texts from friends, a voicemail from her sister. "You're on the news," one message read. She glanced up and saw a reporter pointing toward her house, narrating to the camera. She couldn't hear every word, but she caught one phrase clearly: possible discovery in small-town shed. Across the street, a group of teenagers filmed from the sidewalk, laughing. Another neighbor was live streaming. Claire's face appeared on several screens at once. She wanted to disappear. All she had done was try to clean the shed, and now half the town seemed to be watching her do it. The officer moved the tape farther out, cutting off her small vegetable garden. "For safety," he repeated. A second patrol car pulled up, lights flashing this time. Claire rubbed her forehead. "I can't believe this," she whispered. Her quiet Saturday had turned into something she didn't even recognize. Theories ran wild. Someone said it looked like evidence from a cold case. Another insisted it was a rare bird's nest. A reporter asked if she'd lived there long, if maybe the previous owner had left something behind. She gave polite, shaky answers, wondering what she could possibly say to stop them. She snapped without meaning to. "It's just a piece of fabric," she shouted. A few heads turned, but the cameras stayed fixed. The reporter beside her lowered her mic for a moment, looking slightly sorry. Claire turned away, realizing how desperate she must look on camera, sweaty, anxious, cornered. Among the small crowd, she noticed one man standing apart, no press badge, no phone. He just watched, hands in his pockets, expression unreadable. When she met his eyes, he looked away quickly and stepped back into the group. Something about that glance made her heart skip uneasily. Another car arrived, then another. Someone shouted about setting up better light for the cameras. The officer told everyone to step back again, but it didn't help. The hum of voices, radios, and footsteps filled the air. Claire had never seen her own street so crowded or so loud. A familiar voice cut through the noise. "Claire!" Karen hurried up the walkway, face tense. What on earth is all this? Claire exhaled in relief, her shoulders dropping for the first time in an hour. "I don't know," she said quietly. "I just found something in my shed, that's all." Karen stopped halfway up the path, staring at the yellow police tape, the cameras, the crowd of neighbors. "You posted one picture?" she asked. Claire nodded helplessly. "One picture?" she repeated, as if she couldn't believe it either. Karen crossed the tape without asking and hugged her. "You're shaking," she said. "I just wanted to clean," Claire muttered. "Now there's news trucks." Reporters turned toward them. "Is this the friend she called earlier?" someone shouted. Karen frowned. "Excuse me? Who are you people?" the reporter replied smoothly. "Local press, ma'am. We're just documenting." Karen shot Claire a look that said everything. This was out of control. Claire leaned against the porch railing, exhausted. "I haven't even looked inside," she said softly. "Everyone's acting like it's a crime scene." "You did the right thing not touching it," Karen replied. A white van pulled up, this time official. Two men from the fire department stepped out, gloves on, ready to assist police. The street now looked like a neighborhood festival. Clusters of whispering neighbors, kids on bikes, someone even selling lemonade across the street. "All this," Karen said, shaking her head, "for something you didn't even touch." Reporters kept circling back. "Did you hear anything? Has anyone been in your yard?" Claire answered less and less until Karen finally stepped in. "She's done answering," she said firmly, but the cameras kept rolling. Inside the tape, the responders ducked into the shed, flashlights sweeping the walls. They spoke quietly, taking photos. Claire and Karen stood together, watching every gesture, searching their faces for clues. When one man raised a knife to cut the rope, the chatter outside died instantly. Even the wind stopped. Claire held her breath as the bundle lowered, the rope snapping with a dull sound. "We'll open it carefully," one said. Claire stayed still, not wanting to see but unable to look away. The men crouched low, slicing through layers of burlap and canvas. The air smelled of dust and rope. The outer covering fell away to reveal more layers canvas, twine, a faded tarp. One murmured something to the officer, who nodded gravely. Claire's stomach twisted. Karen steadied her arm. Finally, the last strip came free. Inside was something pale and delicate like aged wood dusted with time. The tension in the men's shoulders eased. The officer stepped out and addressed the crowd. "It's not hazardous," he said calmly. A ripple of relief spread through the onlookers. When the responders carried the bundle into the light, the truth emerged. A collection of small weathered wooden carvings, birds, hand-painted but faded with age. Someone whispered, "It's art." Another said, "Folk pieces." Claire stared, speechless. Her late husband had carved birds just like these. She stepped closer. Each carving bore the initials M.D. his. He used to carve them in the evenings and hang them to dry in that very shed. She hadn't realized how many he'd made before he passed. A nearby reporter lowered her mic. "They're beautiful," she said softly. "Did your husband make them?" Claire nodded. The cameras dropped, gentler now. One by one, the vans packed up. The officer thanked her and folded away the tape. Neighbors waved awkwardly before heading home. Only Claire and Karen remained, the air finally still again. Together, they gathered the carvings and set them on a bench. Claire brushed a finger along one wing. "He must have meant to varnish these," she murmured. Karen smiled. "Guess he left you one more surprise." Claire laughed quietly, her shoulders finally relaxing. That evening, after the last car drove away, Claire placed one carved bird on her kitchen windowsill. Outside, the shed stood peaceful again. She poured herself a cup of tea and smiled faintly. "All that fuss," she murmured, "over something he made with love," and the day felt whole again.